Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा। जिन भक्तों को ये प्रवचन हिंदी में सुनना है उनसे निवेदन है कि कृपया भक्ति वेदांत हॉल में प्रस्थान करें। हरे कृष्णा। Humble request to all the devotees to kindly keep their mobile phones on silent mode when the class is on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There's a saying that wherever the Vaishnava goes, people chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
But whenever I come, the people stop chanting.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Trivikrama Swami Maharaj was born in 1941. So Maharaj, a staunch sannyasi for more than 54 years, one of the senior leaders and ISKCON gurus, was initiated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in 1969 and given sannyas initiation in 1971. With just one instruction from His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, based on a letter dated March 7th, 1970 in Los Angeles, US, Maharaj has willingly accepted renounced order of life and is dedicated whole life in the service of Srila Prabhupada. During Srila Prabhupada's presence on this planet, Maharaj was regularly assigned by His Divine Grace to spread Krishna consciousness in various countries worldwide, such as United States of America, UK, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, and India as well. Maharaj has served as temple president at various centers and also is a pioneer in opening and expanding many centers, helping in preaching about Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada personally said about him, "He will always go wherever I send him." His Holiness is well known for his loyalty and obedience to Srila Prabhupada's teachings, mood as well as the mission. Maharaj has rendered so many personal services such as driving and giving massages to Srila Prabhupada regularly. After Srila Prabhupada's departure, His Holiness made sure that Srila Prabhupada's position as the founder Acharya of ISKCON would not be compromised by playing an active role in the Guru's reform movement. Later on, His Holiness led preaching in Orlando in the capacity of temple president and is actively preaching in many parts of Eastern Europe, such as Poland, Ukraine, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Czech Republic, and many East European countries. Maharaj has been accepting disciples on behalf of his spiritual master and ISKCON since 1987 and is well known for his ecstatic kirtans you would have experienced in the Sunday feast in the morning today. Is one of the examples of his ecstatic kirtans, as well as his bhajans, and he's renowned for profound lectures with practical applications per the teachings and instructions of Srila Prabhupada. While Maharaj was in Hong Kong and particularly in Japan, every day Maharaj used to go out for 6-8 hours and distribute everywhere between 125 to 250 Srila Prabhupada books every day, Hari Bol, and also Back to Godhead magazines. Recently, Maharaj also started traveling and preaching in Germany, Spain, Slovakia, Bulgaria. So let us welcome His Holiness Trivikrama Swami Maharaj by loudly chanting 3 times.
Didn't mention I'm also becoming forgetful. Where's my computer? Oh. I'm going to give class in there, right? Yes. Oh, there it is. Okay, we sing Jai Radha Madhava or what? Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Rajayana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Rajayana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Jnana Timirandasya Janakana Salakayam Takshut Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Tapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Upakada Maya Atisa Parantikam Tehom Shri Guru Shri Ata Bhagavakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Rupam Sagavajatan Sagagana Raganatan Vitam Sasivam Sadvaitam Sadvarutam Virijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Stuti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Srivasta Sindhu Vaivata Atitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 16. Evam Sanchintya Bhagavan Evam Sanchintya Bhagavan Swarajye stapa dharmajam. Swarajye staptya dharmajam. Nandayama shasurida. Nandayam asasurida. Sarunam Vartmadarshayan. Sarunam Vartmadarshayan. Evam Sanchitya Bhagavan. Sarajye Stapta Dharmajam. Nandayama Shasurida. Sarunam Vartmadarshayan. Evam Santitya Bhagavan.
Evam Sachintya Bhagavan. Swarajye Stapaya Dharmajam. Nandayama Shasurada. Sadhunam Vartmadarshayan.
Run. Mataji's. Evam. Thus. Sanchintya. Thinking within himself. Bhagavan. The personality of Godhead. Rajye. In his own kingdom. Stapya. Installing. Dhamajam. Maharaj Yudhisthira. Nandayamasha. Gladdened. Surida. The friends. Sarunam. Of the saints. Vardma. The path. Darshayan. By indicating. Translation. There's no purport. Srila Prabhupada's translation. Lord Sri Krishna, thus thinking to himself, established Maharaj Yudhisthira in the position of supreme controller of the world in order to show the ideal of administration on the path of piety. I can make a quick comment. People will think, oh, what kind of God is that? It's thinking. But why not? He's a person. He's thinking. So the impersonalists won't give that ability to God. They think he's just energy. He can't take the initiative. He can't have thinking, feeling, and willing. That's the quality of a person: thinking, feeling, and willing. So this refutes their argument that God is some energy or God is just one. No, he's a person, but he's not a person like you and me. Okay, next verse. 17. Uttarayam rita puyoror vamsasadva abhimanyuna savai dhyunyastra samplushta puna bhagavata dritaha. Translation. The embryo of Puru's descendant, begotten by the great hero Abhimanyu in the womb of Uttara, his wife, was burnt by the weapon of the son of Drona, but later he was again protected by the Lord. So we know the story in the battle of Kurukshetra. After the Pandavas won, the Asvatthama, the son of the losing side, the son of Dronacharya, He killed the sleeping sons of Chowpatty, and he tried to kill this boy in the womb, who was later to be Parikshit. But the Lord personally saved him. So this is Krishna's position. He's protecting his devotee, just like he protected the Pandavas, because they were his devotees. So Abhimanyu is described here as a hero. He lost his life, but that was part of the Leela, you can say, that he had to die. But it was a glorious death. He was fighting with like 5 or 6 of the great leaders from the other side. And he was doing it at a crucial moment. Okay, purport, the embryonic body of Parikshit, which was in formation after the Uttara's pregnancy by Abhimanyu, the great hero, was burned by the Brahmastra of Asvatthama. But a second body was given by the Lord within the womb, and thus the descendant of Puru was saved. The incident is direct proof that the body and the living entity, or the spiritual spark, are different. When the living entity takes shelter in the womb of a woman through the injection of the semen of a man, there is an emulsification of the man and the woman's discharges, and thus a body is formed, the size of a pea, gradually developing into a complete body. But if the developing embryo is destroyed in some way or other, the living entity has to take shelter of another body, or in the womb of another woman. So this is why we are against abortion, because the child is innocent in the womb of the mother. It can't protect itself, so we shouldn't kill it, just because it's inconvenient. Prabhupada says real population control will be there if we become serious about God consciousness. Then there won't be overpopulation, and because the people born will be good people, and so there won't be a burden on the earth. The earth is burdened by the demons, like Kamsa, and so the demigods went to pray that the Lord should appear to kill these unwanted demons. But if the people, especially here in India, if you produce good population, then that will be useful. So we shouldn't kill the child in the womb, is the point I'm making. Okay, next. The particular living entity who was selected to be the descendant of Maharaj Puru, or the Pandavas, was not an ordinary living entity, and by the superior will of the Lord, he was destined to be the successor to Maharaj Yudhisthira. Therefore, when Asvatthama destroyed the embryo of Maharaj Parikshit, the Lord, by his own internal potency, entered into the womb of Uttara by his plenary portion, just to give audience to the would-be Maharaj Parikshit, who was in great danger. So that this story is there. It's not story, it's history, that Parikshit, actually Parikshit means one who's examining. So he saw the Lord in his, in the embryo state, and when he came out, he was always looking, where is that person who appeared before me in the womb? And he was looking, so he was always examining, are you that person? Are you that person? And he was looking at everybody who came into his vision. So therefore he got the name Parikshit, one who is examining. By his appearance within the womb of the Lord, within the womb, the Lord encouraged the child and gave him complete protection in a new body by his omnipotence, by his power of omnipresence. He was present both inside and outside of Uttara and other members of the Pandava family. So again, this is Krishna. He's Bhaktavatsal. He's kind to his devotees. He protected Chowpatty when she was being embarrassed in the assembly. Tried to make her naked. He gave unlimited sorry. So this is the nature of the Lord. He's a loving person. And isn't that a higher conception than just that God is just energy? Because I'm mentioning this because still in India, there's, I would say even the majority of people are impersonalists, Mayavadis. At least the ones I meet in America. They think, they follow these different gurus who teach them that God is energy. Or another example I give, like God is the ocean, and we're like bubbles on the ocean. And if the bubble breaks, it becomes one with the ocean. But what happens to the bubble? It's not a good analogy because we're not bubbles, we're individuals. Krishna tells Arjuna, chapter 2, text 12, you and I and all these kings, that he's on the battlefield, they've always existed in the past as persons, we're existing now as persons, and in the future will also exist as persons, individuals. So this is a higher conception, that God is diverse in many energies. That is, the main energies are the Lord Himself and His immediate expansions, we call Vishnu Tattva. Then the Jiva Tattvas, there's so many in this room, Jiva Tattvas, and they're also unlimited. But their nature is different. The God is great, but the Jiva is small. But it has the same nature as God, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. But by misuse of independence, we've come here to the material world. So the Lord is not happy that we're suffering. And so sometimes He comes Himself or sends His representative, like Srila Prabhupada, to wake us up out of this ignorance that we're thinking that we're matter. We're not matter. The body may be made of matter, but we're not matter. We're the soul who has a material body. And we can also develop our spiritual body. So this is our goal. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended this chanting of Hare Krishna, which will purify us. It won't make us God, but it'll make us purified so that we can see God, or we can approach God. And because God is not, you can say, approachable to those who are sinful. He keeps distance from them through His Maya, through His external energy. He doesn't let them come close to Him until they become purified. So this is the message of the Lord, is purify yourself. This is Prabhupada's message. This is our message. And the best way we purify ourselves is by chanting Hare Krishna. You heard that mantra, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's a simple process. We don't have to change our position. You remain in your home, in your office, whatever but just add this chanting. And of course, if we can get initiated, that'll be helpful. So to be initiated, then we have to follow some principles. No illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating, or fish or eggs. And intoxication includes coffee and tea. How many of you are still addicted to coffee and tea? Be honest. Only one person. I thought you guys were all into tea. I'm impressed. No, I was addicted too. I was smoking cigarettes. That's even worse than tea. But when I joined, I was obliged to give it up. And that was, 55 years ago. So now I don't even like the smell of it. So we can change, and we must change. We're born in ignorance, Omajnana, Timirandasya, but we approach the spiritual master, like Srila Prabhupada or his representatives, with the mood of submissive inquiry and ready to render service. And then, I'm a little cold here, can we shut this off? Then we'll be able to qualify. We have to qualify ourselves. Otherwise, we remain. It's like a prison house. Dukalayama shashvatam. Everybody who's here temporarily, we're changing body, and it's full of misery from other living, Adidaivak, Adibhotik, Adiatmik. 3 kinds of miseries we are all subjected to. Nobody can avoid it. Even if you're the richest man. Who's the richest man in India now? Huh? Ambani. He still has miseries. He stubs his toe. He drinks something that's too hot and he burns his mouth. You can't avoid 3 kinds of miseries. Adidaivak, Adibhotika. From other living entities, mosquitoes coming. From the nature, too cold, too hot. Bad air. Too much traffic in the road. And then other living entities, and then the nature. So you can't avoid. Did I get all 3? Or what was it? Adhyatmic means from my own mind and body, yes. I get a headache. Nobody caused it, but it just comes. So this is the material world. Therefore, we should take impetus from this and become serious about transferring to the spiritual world. If we're not a little serious, Maya is very powerful. She'll carry us away. That verse is there. Daiviye sagunamayi, mama maya daratya. My Maya is very difficult to overcome. She's very powerful. But the next line is, one who surrenders to me, he can easily cross beyond it. So it's difficult to get out of Maya, and it's also easy. Who was it? Katvanga Maharaj, yes. He was a great hero of the earth. But he went to the Kshatriya, he went to help the demigods in a fight. And the demigods were very pleased with him. They won the battle, and when he was coming back to earth, they asked him, please take some benediction from us. So he said, okay, tell me when I'm going to die. So they calculated, you're going to die in a few moments. So immediately became very serious and did bhakti yoga and went back to Godhead. So we can finish up in a second. Some people say, well, how long it takes to become the consummate in bhakti yoga? It can be in one moment. But we have to be sincere. Krishna is in our heart. He knows if we're trying to cheat him. So the question is, we want sense gratification or we want Krishna consciousness? It's our choice. So most people opt for sense gratification. That the world is full of those who think this is the goal of life. Eat, drink, and be merry. And go to the nightclub. But we have a morning club here. Mangalarti. And it's very joyful. Those of you who were here this morning for Mangalarti, it's a good way to start the day. You feel so much cleansed. We clean our body, so this is how we clean our heart. By chanting Hare Krishna. Chaito Darpana Marjanam. Bhava Mahadavagni Nivarpanam. It's not a difficult process, but we have to take it seriously. I know when I was first coming, I was a student at the university, and I met the devotees, and I was seeking spiritual life, and I'd even left the university at one point and gone to try to find some spiritual master. But I wasn't happy with that, finding the person I was looking for. I wasn't successful. And then I met the devotees, one who was in my class, and he had a bead bag. So I approached him. I said, what happened? You hurt your hand? And then he took the beads out and he showed me. He said, no, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, and there's the temple. We were near the temple there. It was close to the university. And so I started going, and then I found that by coming in the morning, because it's a little hard. You have to get up at 4 o'clock to get there, or before 3:30. Take a shower, come to the temple. So it was difficult. So I asked them if I could move in, and they allowed me. So I was a student, but after I moved in the temple, I did better in my studies, really, because I had given up smoking and all the other nonsense, and so I had more focus. I could understand the test better and so on. So people think, if I become a devotee, then I'll lose all the advantages I have on the material side, but it's not true. Just take a step to Krishna. We don't expect everybody to move in the temple, but you can, from your own position, everybody can make a step to Krishna. Will you do that for me? In other words, think in your own heart what it is that you could give to Krishna that you're not giving. It can be time, it can be money. It's something valuable that you're just keeping in case that this Krishna consciousness doesn't work out. You want to fall back on. So, if you give a little more from that side, whatever it is, then Krishna will reciprocate. And this was the test I gave. I saw that by moving in the temple, I did materially, I wasn't less. So you'll have the same experience, I guarantee. Unless, of course, you get the special mercy like Prabhupada got, that Krishna takes everything away. But he won't do that to you immediately. That's only to special persons, that he takes everything and makes you completely dependent on him. But it's generally for us, it's a gradual process. I don't claim to be the same level as Prabhupada. I have disciples, but I tell them, Prabhupada is the Acharya. I'm trying to bring people to Srila Prabhupada. And I also don't claim to be at that highest level of Uttama Adhikari, that like the Prabhupada. Maybe your Radhanath is. I could believe it. He's a very saintly person. But I'm not. I'm still struggling with my lower nature sometimes. And so, the disciples I have, I'm honest with them. But I can direct them to Prabhupada. And I can say with full conviction that here is a perfect person. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. I examined him up close. And I was skeptical. When I first saw that they were worshiping him, they had a picture of Srila Prabhupada, and they were worshiping him. I said, what is this? He's a human being. How can you worship him? My mother told me I should only worship God, not human being. So it was a struggle in the beginning. I was testing. But the prasadam was good. Prasadam and the kirtan. I really liked the kirtan. I still like the kirtan. How many of you were here for Guru Puja this morning? It was a good kirtan, right? Yeah, kirtan gives us life. Prabhupada once told us that in Vrindavan. After a very ecstatic kirtan, he said, with full conviction, this is the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya, this kirtan. And if we don't get taste for the kirtan, simply sex life. So we agree, sex life, there's pleasure there. But it's also, along with the pleasure, comes so much trouble, which is practical. You can't avoid that if you're having, you can say, illicit sex. There's illicit sex and licit sex. Illicit sex means with wife for begetting child. We're not against that. Not Prabhupada. Krishna says, chapter 7, text 11, Bhagavad Gita, I am sex life which is not contrary to religious principle. So we're in favor of sex life for begetting good children. So that's the highest pleasure, but from the other side, it's the highest pleasure. And so the tendency is to be thinking about that even at the time of death. Once there's a story like that, the king, he was a devotee, and he had a Brahmin minister who he got counsel from. So he asked the Brahmin minister, he was like 50 years old, something like that. And he had a 17-year-old daughter, very beautiful, and some other children. So he asked the minister, when is this sex pushing? It's an urge, right? Uvaga. It's pushing. When is this pushing of the genital stopped? And the Brahmin minister said, just wait some time, and I'll demonstrate for you. So he came back again in 2 or 3 weeks, and he said, come now, bring your daughter. and they went to an outlying village in the kingdom, and the one house they went in, the old man was on the bed dying. So the relatives were all around. It was his last days. And of course, when the king and the minister came in, they were ushered up into to see the dying man. And the minister said, "Put your daughter in the front." So they put the girl, beautiful girl, 17 years old, so pure. They put her in the front, and immediately everybody could see that the dying man was attracted. He was lusting. So this is the answer. When is sex life done? It's not. Unless you get a higher taste, you're going to be thinking of sex life even at the time of death. And then what does that mean? You get another family, another body, that you can, again, enjoy sex life. We think we have an advantage there. So that's why we're not against sex life, but we're against illicit sex. Because it's the highest pleasure, and it will inebriate you. You become intoxicated. Oh. I remember hearing from your Radhanath Swami, or my Radhanath Swami. I knew him before you did. And we were friends. He came to Poland. I was there. I remember, and he was doing kirtan and so on. So anyway, he underwent a lot of austerity before he became a devotee. Right? He was completely into it, into austerity, and so he didn't have a problem with sex life. I could see that, but I was not so pure, and I still had a problem. I still have a problem today. I have to admit. I shouldn't be alone with a young girl. I'm butter and fire. Young women is like the fire, and a man is like butter. Prabhupada said, you could test it. There was one envious reporter. I'll tell you the story. We had arranged a nice Vyasasan for Prabhupada at the airport, and Prabhupada was coming, and the reporters were there. And so Prabhupada sat on the Vyasasan, and he started speaking, as he was always doing, speaking about Krishna. And one reporter, when there was time for question, he asked, "Who do you think you are? How come you're sitting on that big seat? And everybody else is sitting on the ground?" So he was like openly envious of Prabhupada's position. And so how did Prabhupada deal with that? He said, "Yes. Yes. The difference between me and you, sir, is in a room full of naked women, I won't be disturbed." And so the reporter was embarrassed. His friends were laughing at him because they knew he couldn't pass that test. So I don't want to be tested like that. I may be able to pass it, but I wouldn't trust myself. We have to understand our limits. That's what happened with some of the leaders in ISKCON after Prabhupada left. They were imitating Prabhupada, and therefore they fell down. They thought they were more advanced than they were. I know one of my godbrothers, who I was very friendly with, I was working with him, but he said like that, "I didn't ask to become guru. Prabhupada made me guru. Everybody knows guru is perfect, therefore I'm perfect." But that's not the logic. You're perfect because you don't have any attraction for sex life. You have a higher taste. At every moment, you're experiencing Krishna consciousness, which is better than mundane sex life. So, this is the biggest binding principle is this sex attraction. It keeps us here. So we all need to improve. Nobody should think I'm perfect like my godbrother did. And you know how he fell down? He had sex life with his own disciples. And then he was going to commit suicide. And he didn't, but he left. He got married, and now he's left his body. So we don't want to go in that direction. And it can attack anyone. We have to be very careful. I see here in India, you're more careful. The women stay in one side. But in the West, now the women want equal rights. And more or less they have equal rights, but it doesn't make them happy. Prabhupada saw that when he was alone in New York before the movement was really underway. And he saw that the older women, they had no family because they were so much involved in the business and so on. And he said, I see your women, one old lady with a dog. That's their family. So better to have pure women, and they should be protected. And the father should see that they have a good husband. This is your culture. Now it's also my culture. Probably it's more my culture than in some of you. I believe it very firmly that women should be protected by the father, by the husband, by the grown-up son. If they're left unprotected, and Prabhupada says like that, a woman unprotected, she won't be able to tolerate the designs of Ravan-class men. Prabhupada describes it like that. Ravana-class men, they'll expert at how to ravish a woman, how to rape her or whatever. So, therefore, the women should be protected. And the men are abnegating that, especially in the West. I don't know, probably it's coming to India too, that they don't care. They leave the wife. Divorce. I think in your villages there's no divorces, even today. But in the cities now, they're following the West, and divorce is becoming more common. Is that true? Okay, so we don't want divorce. Divorce, who suffers in a divorce? The person who suffers the most are the children. The father, the child can't understand. He loves both his parents, but now the father goes away, or the mother goes away. So, better to avoid. That means we have to protect the women. Women, are you happy with that? The danger is it can become a protection racket. The men can, exploit the women with a bad motive. Just like the mafia. The guy's running a grocery store. He has the store running for 20 years, no problem. But a mafia comes and they say, we'll protect your store for $50 a month. The guy says, protect my store? Otherwise, it might somebody might break into it. So he said, no, I don't. But then they break into it. So they come back next week and say, you sure you don't want protection? So that's called a protection racket. So the men can fall victim to that. Instead of protecting them, they're exploiting them. Then naturally the women rebel. That's what happened in the West more. And in the black community, we see in America, the black community, they have like 50% of the men are not in the home. More than 50%, 70% I think. The men go out of the home, and the women have to raise the children. And especially if they're raising boys, the boys rebel. When they're 13, 14, they don't, get away from me. They're bigger than their mother. They're stronger than their mother. And they join a gang. The gang becomes their family. And this is how the society degrades. And it's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter. One of the arguments that Arjuna gave is that women will be left unprotected, and then society will be degraded. So that's what happens. It's happening, Kali Yuga. But we can bring in a golden age by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's given us this formula that we can improve ourselves and we can improve the society. And it's not very difficult. Especially you all have your own apartments, most of you, or a house. Then you can make your house a temple. Like last night we were at a nice Grihasta's house. Beautiful temple they have. We've had a few programs like that. And so you make your house a temple, offer your food, pataram pushpam phalam toyam. Krishna says, if you offer me with love, I'll accept it. Then you're taking prasadam. Just by eating you make spiritual advancement. Purify your existence just by eating nice prasadam. And then, while you're making the offering, you pray, bow down, and chant Hare Krishna. You don't have to change your position. Of course, we like you to come. And when regularly, here on Sunday, I see there's a bigger crowd than we've been experiencing during the week. I've been here 4 or 5 days. So it's nice to see you're coming. And we're hopeful that India can lead the world in this regard. That they become more and more Krishna conscious people and gradually influence the government more and more. Just like we were just now in Karga. And your Prime Minister came. He was very happy. And you could see he likes ISKCON. He has respect for Prabhupada. And so this way gradually, may take 100 years or 200 years, but we can bring about a big change in the world. That was Prabhupada's goal. He was always thinking big. He wasn't just thinking to save a few people. And he wanted to, I personally saw that in the last days he was very concerned that the mission would go on after he left. Because he saw his spiritual master's mission, Gaudiya Math, they splintered. Now there's like 100 and something Gaudiya Maths. And each Gaudiya Math has a sannyasi in charge. They're not united. You can't go, the sannyasis can't even go from one Gaudiya Math to the other without permission and without, like I'm coming here, nobody's stopping me, I'm an ISKCON man, they know that, and Radha Swami is an ISKCON man. So we don't have any envy for each other, we cooperate, we're trying to keep Prabhupada in the center. We keep Prabhupada in the center, then this movement will go on. That's a fact. And it's very simple and natural. Prabhupada even told us, keep the Acharya in the center. He was talking about himself. So we're doing that. Every temple, we have Prabhupada's Murti there. We have Guru Puja every day in every temple. We have Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, as it is. So this way, we can all keep Prabhupada in the center, and we can have another ISKCON in the spiritual world. We're all going back to Godhead, we can meet there and chant Hare Krishna. So it's a very simple process, but the application is a little difficult. Why is it difficult? Because of false ego. We don't think we need help. We think we're okay. I'm okay. Everybody's thinking like that. I'm okay. We were on Harinam and we were sitting down and chanting, and we had a table of books, and one devotee was approaching people, and everybody was saying, when they approached with the book, I'm okay. They didn't want the book. I'm okay. I'm okay. Probably give the example of the man on his deathbed. He's being fed through the veins. Somebody's cleaning his stool and urine. He can't properly go to the toilet. But if you ask him, how are you? Oh, I'm okay. So this is the Maya. You're not okay. Admit that you need help. Approach the spiritual master. Inquire submissively. But if we're puffed up, then we think, well, he's not any better than me. Why should I approach him? So we should have that little humility. Bhagavad Gita tells us, 434, right? Approach the self-realized soul, render service submissively. Inquire from him. We have a duty to inquire. We're not looking for blind followers, like some cult. That everybody just, like Hitler had a cult, right? Everybody just, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler. No, we don't want that. Prabhupada doesn't want that. He wants you to be independently thoughtful. Who you are. What is the purpose of life? And so that you can get out of this. We came to the material world individuals. Everyone by our own desire. It wasn't a mass movement. And Prabhupada didn't want that kind of mass movement where everybody's blindly following. He wanted you to be thoughtful and understand that this is the real philosophy. I'm a particle of Krishna, but I've misused my independence, and now I'm suffering. But if I take to Krishna consciousness, then I can again be reinstated in my original position. Back home, back to Godhead. So it's not difficult, but the application is difficult because of false ego. We're born with this false ego. So we have to overcome it. So I'm been advised to speak longer, but I would be happy to take some questions if there's any question at this time. And then we can elaborate on that and maybe we can go on talking more. Any question from anybody? Otherwise we can go back to the verse. You have a question? Yes? Somebody has a question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, give the microphone.
Here.
Oh.
Maharaj, you mentioned about woman protection. So what does that really mean? Can you describe it? Woman protection.
Yeah, woman protection means that we don't allow them to go out to the nightclub at 1 o'clock in the morning with a couple of girlfriends. The husband says, no, you can't go out. But in the West, they say, what do you mean? It's my right. So that's one. In other words, the women should understand that they can be exploited by unscrupulous, Ravan-class men. No matter how powerful you may be, the men are more cunning and more powerful. They can beat you and then rape you. So you have to be protected. You should accept protection. The women should be smart enough to know that my husband is my well-wisher. And he wants to protect me. That's because he loves me. Just like we protect our children. So women are more or less like children. They need protection. Now, doesn't mean they're not very intelligent. They can be very intelligent and they can help, they can give good ideas and help us, with so many things. And on the spiritual side also, I have female disciples who are very smarter than me. They must have IQs of 100, 200 or whatever. So smart. But still, I can see they need protection. They'll be exploited by Ravana-class men. And there's a lot of Ravana-class men in this world. So that's the duty of the husband, is to protect his wife from Ravana-class men. Anyone else? And if the women are smart, they'll be happy. Why not? He's my well-wisher. Of course, if you're not your wife's well-wisher, then it's a problem. If you don't like her, or if you want to hurt her, then it's a problem. But you don't get married if that's your mentality. You just want to exploit your wife. There's another question. I could tell that I've written a book about my experience with Prabhupada. So I can tell some story there from that book. I think what you would find interesting from my personal experience. How Srila Prabhupada would sometimes chastise me and sometimes encourage me. So which do you like to hear? Which story? Huh? Both. Okay. I usually tell the story how he chastised me. I mentioned I was giving massage to Srila Prabhupada. So there's a good, interesting point. The first time I gave massage, then I had never given massage before, and he liked this vigorous massage. The doctors told him it was good for his condition. He had a stroke, so it was good for his blood circulation. So he liked a strong massage. So I gave massage, and then after I finished, I said, Prabhupada, I never gave massage before. So I was thinking I'm going to go to the library today and get a book on how to give massage. I thought, we can use things. But it's not necessary. He said, just read Bhagavad Gita and Krishna will tell you how to give massage. Yeah. So I never got that book. So I was telling how he chastised me. Yeah, he was in London. He had just come. After a few weeks, we had our first big open program. So there was maybe 300 or 400 people. Because in London, I've told this story to some of you. I'm sorry, I'm repeating again because there's so many new people. So there are a lot of Hindus in London. There was even in 1969. So they came half of the congregation or half of the audience for Prabhupada's lecture and kirtan were Hindus. So one of them was objecting, oh, what about Lord Shiva, and why are you only talking about Krishna, and like something like that. So then Prabhupada gave an answer, but he wasn't satisfied, and as the class went on, he stood up and he again interrupted Prabhupada. So Prabhupada told him in a strong voice, sit down, you are nonsense. So we had never seen Prabhupada so bold. Sometimes he says, right, like a lion on the hunt and a lamb at home. So Prabhupada was very humble in dealing with him, but he was so bold there. So I liked it, I said, wow. So next day, I was giving massage, and I was thinking, because it was a series of lectures, he was going to speak again that evening. And so I was massaging him in that mood, getting him in shape for another knockout performance. Like a trainer, right? I was massaging, and I was talking and massaging and talking, and my mood was like, you and me, Prabhupada, we could take over the world. And suddenly Prabhupada said, no! And my hands froze on his body. And then he said, with another voice like a child, 7-year-old boy, he spoke. From deep in his heart, he said, I am just a humble servant. And I felt so embarrassed. I thought I shouldn't be in the same room with this person. He's such an aristocrat. And I'm just an ordinary Sujo off the street. And there was one throw rug there, and I thought I should go under the rug. So this is Prabhupada. It was real humility. It wasn't false. Just like a little innocent child was speaking. I'm a humble servant. How is it possible that Prabhupada could think like that? Because he was always remembering his spiritual master and Krishna. And in that relationship with the spiritual master, he was a humble servant. So when he said, I'm just a humble servant, he wasn't being falsely humble. That's how he saw himself. No pride, no arrogance. There was no arrogance in him. Although he was a big, big leader, 1,000 people were coming, giving money, giving their life, surrendering to him, giving land, but he was very humble. So, in the same period, a few months later, he was there for 3 months. So I was giving massage every day, 45 minutes to an hour. So I liked the service. It was purifying me. I could feel it. I was becoming purified just by touching his body like that, vigorously every day. I was losing my lust. So I was asking sometimes, Prabhupada, when you leave, can I continue with this service? He was going back to America. Can I continue with this service? Can I come with you? And he would be non-committal. He said, let us see what Krishna wants. So about a week before he was due to leave, his servant came and said, stop bothering Prabhupada about going to America, because another devotee his name is Upendra, and Prabhupada gave him permission to come and give him massage when he arrives back in America. So later that day, I was driving Srila Prabhupada, and we were alone in the car, and I said, Srila Prabhupada, your servant, Purushottam, said that Upendra is going to be giving you massage when you go back to America. So he knew I wanted to do that. And I asked him like that. So Prabhupada responded. His response was, utter silence. And I thought, he heard me very clearly. He's only this far away from me. So then I thought, it's true. I'm not going to go with him. He doesn't want me to go with him. That silence meant. And so I accepted it. I surrendered to the reality that I wasn't going to go with him. But still the silence was there. So I didn't know how to break the silence. So I thought I'll break the silence at the same time, but let him know that I'm not disturbed about not going with him, that I'm reconciled to it. So I said to him, Srila Prabhupada, I never met Upendra. Is he a nice boy? And Prabhupada turned to me in the car and he said, "Not as nice as you." So it went right into my heart. I thought, Prabhupada loves us. He did love us, and he loves you also. That's the mood of the pure devotee. He loves, because every living entity is particle of Krishna. He loves Krishna and he loves Krishna's parts and parcels also. But of course, if you don't want his love, he can't force his love on us. But he's ready to love us. I saw that. He wrote every letter that he sent. Your ever well-wisher. He really was a well-wisher to everybody. He had so much. Therefore it says, if Govinda and Guru come in front of you, first you should go to Guru. Because he's more compassionate than Krishna. He comes out and personally canvasses. Krishna has been in America for thousands of years, right? He's in everyone's heart. But nobody became... Bhagavad Gita was also there. But nobody became a devotee until the pure devotee came there. We need his example. And therefore, we want to keep Prabhupada in the center. There he is. He's in the center. But he wants us to keep Krishna in the center. So here is Krishna in the center. So there's nothing, you can say, fractured there. Everything is done properly. By keeping Prabhupada in the center, we'll never lose. Okay? So that's the two stories I told. Any questions on philosophy? I think you all know the philosophy. Indians are smart, right? No, I mean in general. But still, your compatriots, many of them are impersonalists still. So you should fine-tune your approach to them. When they say, God is one or God is love, people say like that, God is love. But that's a half-truth. God is a loving person. Love is a verb, right? It's not a noun. A person, is a subject or an object. So we are personalists. And we should, Bhagavad Gita gives so many arguments, Prabhupada gives so many arguments, how we can defeat the impersonalists. So we should take the initiative. Don't be embarrassed to preach to your friends. And tell them, when they say, no, everything is God. Or they'll say, God is the light. God is the source of everything. But they don't accept that he's a person. But he's a person not like you and I. That's the problem. They think person means limited. He's a human being. He's not a human being either. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to fine-tune our preaching so that people become convinced. So now, what's the time element? How much time I have still? How much time I have? 5 minutes? 10 minutes, okay. Let me tell another story. No, because Prabhupada's example was there. I wasn't bashful, let's put it that way. I joined when I was 26, I had been in the Navy, I had been with women, I graduated from the university, I had a bachelor's degree. So I was thinking, if I'm going to do this, I want to find out what the hell it is I'm getting into. So I was pushing, and I was pushing Prabhupada sometimes. I remember I was looking at him. He had his head down, he was doing some writing or something. I was like, this person now, I'm going to surrender to him? And that's what I'm supposed to do, right? So I was kind of looking in that way at him, like inspecting him. And he raised his head and saw me looking at him, and he said, yes. He pinned me. He saw I was looking at him, and he was looking at me also. So that was a Prabhupada. In other words, he was smart, on the worldly sense also. He used to say, I'm a Calcutta man. He wouldn't get cheated. He was very careful. Yeah. Especially about money. I'll tell you a quick story about money. We were in Vrindavan, and I had come there just to see Prabhupada. I love Prabhupada, I did, and I like to hang out with him. Just to have his association was wonderful. So I was in Prabhupada's room, and he called his servant. He said, "Get the key for the Elmira." The Elmira, you know that word, right? In English, in America, they don't know what Elmira. What is that? So anyway, get the key to the Elmira, and the key was hidden someplace behind something, I forget. And open the Elmira and bring me my papers. So the devotee did that in my presence. 24 hours later, I was in Prabhupada's room again, and he turned to me, said, "Open the Elmira and bring me his passport." And I looked at him like I'm not your servant. I was thinking, I'm not the one who's supposed to get this, you know. I'm not even supposed to know. But Prabhupada said, "You know where the key is." So my point is, 24 hours before, I was in the room when the Elmira was open. But he remembered that I was in the room. And in other words, he was very careful about valuables. Money was earned, and he said, he criticized, "You Americans only know how to spend money. You don't know how to keep it." And he told how in India, when he was a child, 1 grain of rice he would pick up and put on his head. Because that was just where he came from. That nothing is wasted. So that's a good lesson. We should think this is Krishna's money, Krishna's whatever valuable thing we have, and we should protect it. Just like we protect our women, we should protect our money. Don't be exploited by so many scams are there, right? And some of them come from India also. They call up. They have call centers. And they call people and tell them, you lost whatever, and they scam the money from them. So we don't want to be scammed. We want to use everything in Krishna's service. It's not ours. And the same with our body. We should keep our body healthy. Krishna's given us this body. I'm 84 this year. So I take care of my body. Not overextended, but I eat properly. I don't overeat. And I try to eat healthy food. Not too much sweets. Well, you're laughing because you eat too much sweets, right? Okay, I think the time is up.
Krishna.
Next.
Maharaj, one question. So you wanted to serve massage Srila Prabhupada nicely, and you wanted to read some books how to do massage. But even that too, Srila Prabhupada told, read Bhagavad Gita and you will know what to do, how to do it nicely. But then for preaching purpose and many other purposes, we refer so many outside motivational and different kinds of books, which may not be spiritual, and also some books related to some other sampradayas. So what is their role in our spiritual journey? How much we should be referring to them?
Other sampradayas? No, we don't have to. Because we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Other sampradayas don't have him. And we have the Goswamis coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And such a glorious line. Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I mean, these people are really... Jiva Goswami, Prabhupada said he's the best philosopher that ever lived, practically. So why do we want to go outside? I don't see any need. We can appreciate them, Ramanujacharya or somebody, and we can speak highly of them, but what is it that you don't know, that you can't find in our literature? And we have a Chinta Beta Beta Tattva from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That concludes everything. If you understand this principle, a Chinta Beta Beta Tattva, that everything is one and different from God, simultaneously, one and different from God. This includes everything. So yeah, we can go to the plumber and get his expertise to fix the toilet, we're not crazy and think that we can't get any help from anybody, because we're in the material world, so we have to adjust to things, so we can take help. But I don't see why we need help from other sampradayas. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody argue that? Any scholars here? No, some devotees are really scholarly. I'm not a scholarly person so much. I like kirtan. And I know the philosophy, but I'm not really that much. Like I wrote this one book, 150 pages or something, and that was hard for me. I'm not a writer as such. Like some devotees really like to write. I'm more extrovert. I like to go out and do Harinam. They were talking about Harinam. I'm ready to go. But these streets are so hellish. Where do you go? I mean, coming. It's like a cultural shock. In the West, they don't do that. I mean, pedestrians have the right of way. They really stick to that. Pedestrians will walk right in the street, and you have to stop because they really feel they have the right of way. But here, my God, the pedestrians, it's dangerous. I see them sometimes, they get stranded in the middle of the road. And they can't go back and they can't go forward. Anyway, does anybody knows about that? Taking help from the... I don't see any quotes that Prabhupada refers to the... He keeps to our sampradaya, seems to me. Of course, we recognize Madhavendra Puri. He was in the sampradaya. What was it? Madhva. So we are also, but we're part of that. So those. Okay, class is finished then. Thank you very much. I want to say one more thing. That you're clapping everything, but I'm not so qualified. I'm simply a servant of the Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj, teaching us a right attitude, how we should have this attitude of being servant of servant in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Let us thank His Holiness Trivikrama Swami Maharaj by loudly chanting 3 times. Haribol! 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 So now there are some announcements regarding Maharaj's book which Maharaj was mentioning in the class.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your enthusiastic participation and patience throughout this wonderful lecture by His Holiness Trivikrama Swami Maharaj. So as we heard so many pastimes and stories of Maharaj with Srila Prabhupada, so Maharaj has got a lot of personal association of Srila Prabhupada and had an opportunity to serve Prabhupada personally at many occasions, quite a few times. And on request of all disciples and various devotees, Maharaj has written down all his exchanges and his experiences with Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON while Prabhupada was on this planet and also afterwards. So all such stories are incorporated in this wonderful book titled Priceless Moments with Pure Devotee. Haribol. This book has been well received by all over ISKCON by so many senior Vaishnavas like His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, Chowpatty Maharaj, Indradunna Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, Krishna Kshetra Maharaj, Satswarup Maharaj, and the list goes on. So please take this opportunity of receiving book today. It's personally signed by Maharaj already for all of you. Any devotees who are interested can please come to me and collect the book from me. The book is only a meager charge of 200 rupees. Like I saw that the price of a pizza in this Govindas was like 450 or something. So, I think 200 is not a big thing. It could be like an asset for your whole life. Such beautiful jewels of stories. They're really priceless. So you cannot really value them. Put a price on them. So I request again all devotees, it's a nice opportunity, personally signed by Maharaj. Please come to me and collect the books. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.